Hello everyone, my name is the Black Dragon, and this is going to be What If Deku Had a Yandere, Part 1. Well, no, I'm going to say Part 0. This is going to be more like an explanation video. Let's get started. Alright, now this will start when Izuku is basically started unlocking, well not started, but unlocked his quirk. Now before Izuku unlocked his quirk, this part will be important. Bakugo came into the classroom, showing off his new quirk, making small popping noises, sounding almost like pop rocks. If you ever had pop rocks, you know what I mean. But yeah, pop rocks, but not in your mouth, like out loud, sounding like almost like pop rocks. And Izuku, fanboying over Bakugo, is amazed by this. And Bakugo then asks Deku, I'm not a Deku, Izuku, what's your quirk? And Izuku says, I haven't unlocked mine yet. Bakugo says, well, whatever quirk you get, it won't be better than mine. Izuku says, well, it probably won't catch on, but we'll see. Bakugo then smirks, and then starts showing off his quirk even more. 2 days after that happens, Izuku's just sitting in class, doing his work, some basic coloring sheets, things like that. You know, kindergarten. Kindergarten hit different back in them days, though. Doing regular work, and then he smells something like paper burning. He then looks at a sheet of paper to see that it's burning. His teacher also noticed this, seeing the smoke in the room, and then tells everybody to get in, like, come out of the classroom. She then looks at Izuku to ask him if he has anything like matches or maybe lighters. Izuku then says no, and then looks at his fingertips to see that they're a green type of fire. He's a little bit confused by this, but then the teacher says, oh, I see. Looks like your quirk unlocked, young Izuku. Izuku, then a little bit thrilled by this, waves his hand around, creating bigger flames on his hand. The teacher then says, Izuku, please, calm down and wait. The teacher then walks out, going to call Inko, saying that Izuku finally, well, not finally, but Izuku unlocked his quirk. Inko, being actually extremely excited about this, nearly ran over a person trying to get to the school out of excitement. When she gets there, she sees Izuku's little hands on fire. That sends a bit of a shock down her spine, I guess you could say, because it's kind of doesn't. It's not too often you see a person with his hands on fire and him looking excited. She then says, "Okay, Izuku, let's go." Once she signs the paper checking Izuku out of the class, she then takes Izuku to the quirk doctor. When they arrive at the quirk doctor, they sit on a small bench, waiting for the doctor to say, come in. When the doctor then says, come in, the doctor says, is this the Midoriyas? Inko then says, yes, this is us. The doctor says, please, come with me. Inko and Izuku then stand up to follow the man into a room. They sit on, the man says, please have a seat. They both sit down, and then he says, do you mind if we have a couple tests on young Midoriya? She then says, no, that would be perfectly fine with me. She then looks at Izuku and says, would that be fine with you? Izuku says, yes, ma'am. Then stands up and goes over to the man. The man says, please come with me. Inko then stands up, wondering if she should go with him or not. But then the doctor says, please, ma'am, sit down. It won't take very long. Inko then says, okay then. Once Inko sits back down, about 5 minutes pass, and Izuku comes out of the room looking a little excited. Then the doctor says, well, ma'am, your son has a very, very interesting quirk. She then sits upright and says, oh, what is it called? The man says, well, we don't quite know. He then says, a lot of quirks we've seen before, we have documents of, but we have no clue what this quirk is. She then says, oh, I see. The doctor then says, well, we're going to have to figure out something to call this quirk, but we do know it is associated with fire. Inko then says, oh, that would actually make sense, since his dad's quirk was literally fire breathing. The doctor then says, but here's the thing, he can't fire breathe at all. Inko then has a bit of a puzzled look on her face, saying, "You mean that he got both of our quirks?" The man then says, "Ma'am, what is your quirk?" She then says telekinesis, but it's not, I can't lift things too big. Then he says, "Well, I think I understand what his quirk is now." Inko then says, "What do you think it is?" He then says, "Well, if your quirk is telekinesis and his father's quirk was fire associated, I'd say he'd be able to bend fire." Inko then says, "Wow, that's very interesting." So then she says, "Would that mean it would be called firebending?" The doctor then says, "Yes, I think that's what it would be called." The doctor then goes into a room and starts writing down a whole bunch of stuff about Izuku. And then the doctor says, "Well, ma'am, please take him home." He then looks at Izuku and gives him a sucker and says, "Try not to use your quirk until next time we meet again, okay?" Izuku then says, "Yes, sir." As they then walk out, Inko is thinking about what the doctor said and then says, "Wow, this boy has a great chance of being a hero." Izuku then tugs on Inko's shirt, saying, "Mom, where are we going?" Inko then says, "Well, honey, we're going to have to go home. But first, we're going to go pick up some groceries, okay?" Izuku then says, "Okay," then starts walking with his mom to the car. And that's where I'm going to end it here. This was more of an explanation video. And I'll be getting more into Izuku's childhood next video. I hope you enjoyed, and bye.